Well, hello. So, because of my friend's Godfrey, we're going to speak about the Virgin Mary and the magical properties of the Virgin Mary. And we're going to talk about golems. We're going to talk about magic. We're going to talk about connecting to energy, unity within people, and primarily magic. The elements of magic in the Virgin Mary and crying and weeping and all those things. So let's talk about the Virgin Mary. Virgin Mary, idol worship, or what's the situation? Well, let's look at it. Let's look at it as an actual energy person, right? Crying, weeping. Why is it weeping? If you see a woman weeping, you comfort her. You go to her and you say, "Hey, what's going on?" You don't touch her unless she lets you. She's like, "Oh, I want a hug." I'm like, "Okay, can I give you a hug?" You ask first, and then you talk to her, and especially if she's the mother, the symbolism of the mother of the planet, right? That's what you would do. You don't pull out your cell phone. You look, oh, look at her. Like, hey, what's up? Hey, oh my God, can I take a picture with you? You don't do that because that's idol worship. And what happens? People travel to these destinations and then they go home like, and they yell and scream and I'm going to take some money. That divinity division that happens. It's a divine division. I know, huh? I don't know what's going on here. And so, in order to come back together, in order to learn that we can, in order to be empowered and to be the divinity within ourselves. What? What's going on here? Who am I speaking? Who's speaking? Be quiet. Hey. So, back to the Virgin Mary and as a golem. So when a lot of people send it, you've seen it in various videos. Children are like, if you put rice on a bear and then at night and then you turn it over and you like say, hey, you're it. It'll come and find you and it'll be alive. I'm like, yeah, there's a certain element to it. And you're putting a demon inside a stuffed animal. When people have trauma, you've seen Annabelle, scary dolls, all those kind of things. Jewish faith, people putting an actual name on it, and the parents are like, oh, I'm the Golem, I'm gonna get you, all those things. The movie, The Golem, great movie, love it, love it. All those myths of infusing energy into an object. All objects have a spark of the Creator. They all have. They all have their story. They all have their elements. And if you watched the most recent Frozen movie, you know that water has memory, right? That's what Frozen is saying. That's what Disney is saying. That water has memory. Is that true? I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and say yes. Dr. Emoto speaks about it as well. The molecules. Do molecules have memory? So all those elements come into play. And so when people are channeling, when people are looking at this statue of a particular person with a particular symbolism, with a particular intention, their magical being is manifesting that, is making that happen. Now, the message that is being received is from my understanding, is from the Mother of the Earth. Is hello, I'm crying because there's so much pain in the world. She's not laughing. She's not pulling out a microphone and telling jokes. I was like, this world is so awesome. Let me tell you why. No, there is none of that. There is just her crying. So then you look at what is the best way that we can stop that from happening, from her crying. Because it's an amazing miracle that a statue is crying. But why is it crying? you know. And then we look at the world and what's going on today, and we start looking at our individual intentions. Where are we at? What are we doing? How are we helping? Where are we devoting? Where are we finding our balance line? Some of us can be too sharing, some of us cannot be sharing enough. So it's about finding that balance. Some of us can be slaves to a specific situation, and some of us can be the enslaver of a particular situation. So finding that balance element where you're responsible for your actions and for what is happening to you. A little shout out, because I'm going to be making another video for Mr. Godfrey, or Mrs. Godfrey, I don't know. I am going to speak about the various different elements of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, right? We speak about that. And the Father is that unknowable energy that does not speak. It speaks, but it's unknown. It's the Keter in the Kabbalah system. The Holy Ghost is that community that we have. That spark of energy, like ooh ah, and even any kind of connection, whether it's positive or negative, that is the Holy Ghost. And then we've got the Son, and the Son or the daughter, is the vessel that shares. It's the continual sharing. It's the vessel that continuously shares. So we are all children, and the sun is also the sun, the brightness, the manifestation of that particular light. So we look at all those particular elements, and then we're on a clock. It's a dial. After a specific time, certain souls pop up in order to help the planet, because the planet, it's a living organism that has its own immunity in specific terms. I mean, if you look at water, and if water has memory, and if you look at the earth, and we look at us, and we look at South Park, and there's a certain communication that is trying to happen by the universe. And so, most recently, I've been wanting to be a comedian. I've been wanting to place myself out there. I need to be famous because I have things to say. I want you to love me because I want you to understand what I've got to say. So, and I sell Legos too. Let me show you. I'm going to put a little link. I separate the Legos. So if you're interested in Legos, let me know on the Facebook Chesco's Place. I'm Sailor Saturn. Why? Specials. So all of that is happening. So back to the Virgin Mary. The Virgin Mary is a manifestation of our hopes and desires for humanity, and she is actually trying to speak to us. She's trying to communicate a certain message to us. So as a person there, like, what do you like? And she's crying, and it's like, how do you heal that crying? Those are the thing. Those are the questions we should be asking instead of pulling out our phone and being like, oh, wow, let me type up a miracle, Twitter, Instagram, none of that. Because then it becomes idol worship, and then we're talking about a statue, not a particular feeling or emotion in the communication that is happening. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you like the South Park episode with the Virgin Mary? I think that comedy needs to press all elements so that we can expand our thoughts and understand. So if you're offended by that, sorry, not sorry. I want to wish you all, though, a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful eternity.